Without him, none of this is possible. So I'm a little bit lost for words. I had to ask Bryce to give the post-game speech because he's a heck of a lot more articulate at this moment and at times always than me. I really want to compliment, UMBC and Coach Ferry and his team. What a wonderful year. They were on a 12-game winning streak. They won the America East regular season conference and won the tournament. And they were resilient and they fought. They did not want to go away all night. And I think our guys' resiliency and being battle-tested in our tournament and some of our games this year, it was a very familiar place for us. So I'm just so happy for our university, our players. We talk about these moments when we present our university to our young men. We talk about how important it is for them to have a chance to get to a NCAA tournament and win games. It's a box that we check. We talk about that before the game. We've never won a game. We've done a lot of things in our program, but let's check off the box of winning an NCAA game today. And I'm just so proud of our guys, so proud of our university, so proud of our leadership with Dr. Wayne Fredericks and Mr. Kerry Davis.
Before we open up questions for Coach, questions for our student athletes. We'll start in the first row right in front of me.
Michael Presti, NCAA.com. For both of you, obviously it's exciting to win any tournament game, but when you've done it for the first time ever, can you talk about what that means to each of you to be able to say that? And secondly, Bryce, what was the subject then of your post-game talk? What did you say?
So to answer your first question, actually, no, I'll let OC answer your first question. I'm going to answer the second one. So our post-game talk was actually about how last year, when me and both OC were out for the season, and we were out for the season because I ended up breaking my foot, and he ended up getting a concussion against who? UMBC, at UMBC. So coming like it's a full circle moment of how, it like you're playing your first NCAA, you winning your first NCAA tournament game against, a team that you got hurt against, you know what I mean? And they fought their butt off. Like, they are such a talented team. I felt like we would get to the point where we kind of get to push away, and they just, like, they wouldn't go away. And their guys are so solid, and a lot of them know their role, and they do it at the highest level. So, all credit to them. But, that's what it's basically about. And everybody kind of came in and played their part, which was huge. So, but, yeah.
OC, your excitement on the moment.
Yeah, like, it's kind of surreal. Like, you kind of watch this tournament as a kid, and I always imagined I'd be here, but to win a game is crazy. I'm truly blessed. And like Coach said, all glory goes to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And really, like, I feel more happy for the younger guys. Like, I feel like, for me, the reason I play so hard, I don't want to get too emotional here, but the reason I play so hard is because of the younger guys on our team. Like, the freshmen, the sophomores, juniors. Like, I play so hard for them because I had such great role models in this game. I had such great role models like Jelani Williams, Seth Towns, Steve Settle, Jordan Wood, like Elijah Hawkins, Kobe Dixon, like Marcus Dockery, Taylor Lewis, and Thomas Weaver, who are now our coaches. I can go down the list. Isaiah Warfield, Jordan Harrison, like, I name all those guys off just to truly say, like, they inspired me to be a better man and a better basketball player every single day. And that's what I try to go into games with and go into the practice with, like, for the younger guys, to be inspiration. Like, at the end of the day, the ball's going to stop bouncing at one day, but it's how you make people feel and the impact you have on them. And that's what I want to leave a lasting impact on these guys, because my OGs left a great impact on me, and I love those guys to death. So every time I have a tough game or anything like that, like, it's funny. I always look at the young guys on the end of the bench, and I'm just like, I got to keep going. I can't falter because they're counting on me, just like I counted on my, seniors and OGs back in the day. And to answer your second question, Bryce basically gave his flowers to everyone. We had everyone from top to bottom: Cam Gillis, Alice Cotton, Cedric Taylor, Calvin, Robbins, Travell Bryson, Isaiah Brown, Donis. Everyone came in and impacted in some way, like, and it was just like the camaraderie and that brotherhood. We have that, like, probably the most connected I've been with a team in a while. Like, these guys are my brothers, and everyone knew their job. And like Coach and Bryce said, all credit to UMBC because they're a hell of a basketball program, top to bottom. But we just had guys like Bryce's endgame speech basically is just like, we did it. Like, we made history with these guys, and it was just, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just a starting five. It was 1 to 16. The energy they gave us, the coaching staff, the scout. Shout out Thomas Weaver for the scout. Yep. But yeah, truly, honestly, a blessing.
Let's go to the first row on the end.
Jeff Walner with the Associated Press. So they got within 5. You worked so hard to build the big lead. They get it down to 5. You withstand that challenge and you extend it back out. But then in the final minute for them to go on that run and get within 2, describe what the moment was like, describe what the conversations were amongst you guys to find a way to pull through in those final seconds.
OC?
Essentially, it was just us being connected. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, we've been in games like this before. If you guys check our rap sheet, we've been in games like this before. We've been in situations. We've practiced for these situations every single day, 7 a.m. So we know what came with it, and it wasn't anything like we were worried or anything like that. Because at this big stage, there's no time for fear. There's no time for worry. You gotta trust your work, and we have a hell of a coach that made us trust our work even more. So we trusted the game plan and trusted each other mostly. Like, the 5 guys out there, like, you got to be one unit, connected all the time. So those are really the conversations.
I'll just say, like, for me, it was, and I said this when we was at the MEAC tournament, just, you know, the fans and everything, like, it's like overreaction to not overreaction, but there's a reaction to everything. You know, but it's kind of like, you know, just calm down. Like, it's a basketball game. And also, too, like they just did, like, you gotta give all my glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give it to God. And I said at the MEAC tournament, every time I felt like any bit of anxiety, any bit of nervousness, you know, like, I always hear a voice in the back of my head, and I feel like it's God telling me, yo, trust me, trust me, trust me. And, you know, making sure I don't falter in that faith, because you falter in that faith, that's when things start to teeter. That's when your emotions start to get out of balance. And, you know, when you get to circumstances like this, when the stage is so big, you can't try and process all those emotions, right? Like, especially the game that you work so hard for, you gotta give those emotions to Him. You know what I mean? And kind of handle what you can handle. So,
just 2 more questions for our student athletes. Let's go to the end here.
Yeah, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. OC, I think you played the last 12 and a half minutes with 4 fouls or almost the whole game. What was that like? What was your strategy to obviously stay in the game and continue to impact?
Just discipline and trust in myself. I wholeheartedly believe I'm one of the best defenders in the country. And he always emphasizes that to me every time, even when, you know what I mean, like, I get in myself and, you know what I mean, you get frustrated at times like that. But, you know, bringing myself back down to reality, calming my nerves, and just knowing that, like, this game, like, the game needs me. My teammates need me. The younger guys need me. So to be solid and to play those 12 minutes with, you know, not fouling is discipline, truly discipline, and trusting in my abilities.
Let's go to the third row in the middle.
Chip Washington, Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. I guess I got a 2-part game plan question. You talked a lot about the game plan. What was your game plan against UMBC in terms of, like, you know, what did you want to take away? And then 2, now with the win, any idea of a game plan against Michigan?
Before, just questions for our student athletes right now. Sorry. Yeah, for Bryce, go right ahead.
I'm going to be honest. It was just play like us. You know what I mean? Like, we obviously watch film, we study their tendencies, things of that nature. But the main thing was, don't come into this game and start getting out of character. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to change who we are, right? We know what we're good at, and you just embrace it. You know what I mean? From 1 to 16, whatever your job is, you do your job. You know? So we understand that, like, coming into the game, that we're a team that applies pressure. You know what I mean? So we're not going to change that. What are we changing that for? We won a MEAC conference championship with that. So, you know, there's no need to, you know, falter in that. And, you know, shout out to Coach KB, just, you know, pushing that theme of urgency with us. And, you know, we came out and we did that. We came out and we did it.
OC?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Like literally, like our game plan was just to be us. Like one of the main things too, Coach said is like we're a physical team, so keep that physicality up the whole way. Like don't run from it. You know what I mean? Like just attack, and always. One thing we always preach is never be on our heels. Always go after. Like we always say, no matter where we're at, whether it's the MEAC tournament, whether it's the first game of the season, like we haven't won none. We haven't won none yet, and we got to go out there and attack every single time because nothing in this life is promised. So you got to go out there and attack it with all you got. And, you know, with the 16 brothers we got, I feel very confident attacking anything. So,
OC Bryce, it was very telling yesterday, the impact that you've had on Howard basketball. It is history tonight, whether win or lose, but you won tonight. And it was just such a joy having you here in Dayton. We wish you nothing but the best against Michigan on Thursday. Good luck.
Thank you so very much.
All right, Coach, would you our student athletes are free to go. You guys can leave. Coach, would you like to answer that question from the gentleman talking about preparation?
Yes, sir. The Bryson brothers, yeah. Going into the game, we knew they were a very potent offensive team. And watching what I could watch throughout the 48 hours that we found out that we're going to play them into basically the time to tip off, they are a really dangerous three-point shooting team. So we wanted to try to limit their three-point shooting. I don't know if we did a great job of that. Looking right now, they were 9 of 22, which is a fairly really good percentage. But they averaged 8 for the year, so we didn't do bad. And we had some, I thought, miscommunications in the first half where we gave up probably 3 open three-pointers, either through miscommunication or in transition. So I think we defended the 3 pretty well. That was one thing. And then their transition. They're a team that really, really gets down the court fast. So for us to be able to sprint, point, and talk, things that we talk about that are embedded into our culture, in transition and build our wall. I thought we did a really good job of that and trying to limit them in fast break points. When you look at it on the stat sheet, they had 5 fast break points, so we did a really good job of eliminating that in transition.
Coach, first, I'm not doing a great job here at my job, and this wonderful lady who's in between us, who do we have up here on the stage?
I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Naomi.
Naomi, welcome to March Madness.
Thanks.
It's wonderful to have you here. Okay, other questions for Coach? Let's go front row here.
Coach Michael Presti, NCAA.com. Is there a more helpless feeling for a coach that you worked that hard to get a lead in the last minute or so, and the free throws just don't drop? What's going through your mind there as that comes into play?
Run, clock, run. I mean, that's the only thing. For me, it was like thinking about game situations. And, we went from, I want to say, like a 3-possession game to a 2-possession game to a 1-possession game. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking inbounds plays, how to get it in. Who do we try to orchestrate getting it into that we feel confident can step up to the line and get a free throw? There's so many defense. How do we slow them down so they don't get a quick 2? There's so many different thoughts that are going through your head at that point in time. But I trust our guys. And we don't do a lot. It's almost like, you ever see that guy that intentionally sits in the mirror and messes up his hair, does his hair in a messy way because he wants it to look messy for like 30 minutes? That's a little bit how we are. We give all our guys all the answers. We play motion. We don't run a lot of sets. We understand spacing. We understand how to move. We talk about having great ball movement and body movement. And the reason I say, like, the guy that sits in front of the mirror and messes up his hair for 30 minutes, it's like, that's what we do. When people see us, they go, you don't run anything. I go, but we practice this way every single day, where our guys are given the answers to every solution that they are presented. So even in the press break situations as it's coming down, we didn't have to change our formation. They have all the information. It's just up to them to execute and them to do it with one another.
All right, let's go to the second row on the end.
Yeah, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. You mentioned the boxes to check. I mean, you talked about where the program was when you began. Where was this box? How did you view this particular one, not knowing you could emphasize it until you get here, but now that you've actually accomplished it?
Well, I think when we took over the job, I want to say Howard was, for like the last 20 years, the 354th ranked team in the country. So for me, that was great, because there was nothing else to do but go forward and make this team and this program a better program. We talked about, like, we'd like to become a winner. We'd like to become a contender. We'd like to become a champion. We'd like to become, at that point then, like, the most dominant team in the league. And as we kind of checked off some of those boxes, obviously advancing in the NCAA tournament was one of those boxes as well. I believe that Howard has a brand that is globally recognized. And what has been done on the academic side with so many wonderful alums going out in the world and contributing so much, I really feel that we can replicate that success on the basketball court. And we've been grinding at it, kind of unseen, and we've had opportunities in different places to kind of showcase our basketball talent. If it's the NBA All-Star Game, if it's the Michael B. Jordan Classic, if it's the HBC Classic, whatever those moments are. But being on this stage and being able to check this box is, it's the only game going on right now. And the whole college basketball world, I'm pretty sure, was locked in on this. So what a wonderful accomplishment. But like I said earlier, I'm so much happier for our university, our leadership, Mr. Kerry Davis, our president, Dr. Wayne Frederick, our young men. Because, when I went to Duke, I understood what going to Duke meant. I went to Duke to win championships. And I want our young men to come to Howard to win championships, because, I'm having opportunities from, 1991 and 1992 at the age of 54 that are still present and presenting themselves daily, that, being a part of a very small part of a wonderful basketball program that happened to win 2 national championships back-to-back years. And I understood that. So when I present opportunities to our players, it's about how do you brand, market, and separate yourself from other students at Howard, right? You do it in the classroom, you do it in the community, and you do it on the court. But if you have a chance to win a championship, MEAC conference tournament, regular season tournament championship, or an NCAA, games in advance, there's not going to be an alum in the country that won't take your phone call. So, you come to Howard for reasons to try to position yourself for the next 30 to 40 to 50 years of your life. And hopefully with our guys, they're doing that today.
Unfortunately, that is our time. But Coach, congratulations on the win. Best of luck. Looking ahead towards Thursday.
Thank you so much. She's not.